I started research into my book about 10 years ago, and it really happened because, well, my mom had been talking to me a lot about William Wolfskill. Since I grew up, since I was a little girl, I always heard about William Wolfskill, our illustrious ancestor. And finally, as I grew older and my mom and I were talking, this was a long time ago, she said, I really hope that you'll write a book about William Wolfskill. It's a great story, it's the story of California, and she inspired me. So my husband, Richard Marusich, who is an armchair archaeology and an armchair archaeologist and a historian and a genealogy enthusiast, joined me on this 10-year search of who is William Wolfskill. And that meant that we had to cover the different trails that he was on. We went and covered the Santa Fe Trail, and that went from Franklin, Missouri to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Then we traveled over the Old Spanish Trail, and we went and walked in his footsteps. We went all the way from Santa Fe, and he went all the way over, was an early expedition in 1830 on what later became the main trail of the Old Spanish Trail, because there are 4 trails. Well, there are more than that, but he basically was one of the trailblazers of the main trail of the Old Spanish Trail. And so what I thought would be interesting for the book is to have people learn about William Wolfskill, my ancestor, but also about what my husband and I did to learn about who William Wolfskill was. So there's really 2 stories in this book. One story is William's story, and the second story is my journey along with my husband Rich as we found out more and more about my ancestor. And we did a lot of genealogical research. We talked to historians, to genealogists. I met family members that I had never known before. They loaned me their photos. They told me family stories. So it has been a wonderful journey, because when I say journey to find the legacy, I really mean it. It's been a journey. I mean, we've traveled so many miles. We've stood in empty fields in the middle of nowhere in Missouri, where, on cornfields where for example, the Santa Fe Trail started, and that town has disappeared. It was swallowed up by the river. But Rich and I went to that field. We could sense where he had started off in 1822. And then we've gone on so many different journeys. And that's why I would really encourage people, if you love you to buy my book, get excited about finding out who your ancestors are. And each journey is so important. Everybody has a story. There are so many stories there about our ancestors that we don't know about, and it's exciting to start learning about it. And that's what genealogy is all about, is learning who you come from, what stories are in your family, and passing those stories along to your children.